Hello everybody, welcome back to Livingalittle. Today we are going to talk about one of the most asked questions. People have been asking me how you can land a job as a QA test engineer or automation test engineer here in Ireland. So I'll be talking to Surya. He has completed his master's in data analytics and currently working as a automation engineer. So let's walk through his experience and see how he landed job here and how are the job opportunities here in Ireland. Please watch the video till the end because he has shared an important tip which might help you to land job as soon as possible. Based on his experience, he have been struggling to find job from past 1.5 years. So let's get started. Everybody, welcome back to Living a Little. Today we have Surya Radhakrishna. He has completed his master's from DBS and he is currently working as an automation engineer. So let's talk about his overall experience and how he landed a job here in Ireland. So Surya, thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule and scheduling it so soon. Thanks a lot for that. Would you introduce yourself for my viewers, like a little bit about your background before you started your master's here in Ireland?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Satya, for this opportunity. Always happy to help out the people here in Ireland, my fellow Indians, as well as all other people who visit your channel and check out your videos and get more information about how they could make their lives better in Ireland. So, yeah, and your content is too good. I appreciate that. So, yes, I'm Surya Radhakrishnan, and I come from Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. So yes, I've done my bachelor's in computer science and engineering, and I was working for 3 years in India before I decided to move abroad. And then yeah, I did my MSc in data analytics from DBS. So this decision was because I wanted a quick jump in my career. So and after that, when I came here, it was mainly due to the reason that it was a one-year master's. That was the major reason why I chose Ireland out of all other countries. And college, because I didn't want to invest much in my master's since I already had previous experience. After that, I wanted to come here and make or say check out what are the opportunities available over here. And then DBS, as I researched, was a gateway for people who don't want to spend much on their masters and want to get into whichever field they like to. So yeah, data analytics was just choice on a whim. There's no specific reason behind it. I have worked as a developer and a tester together, and then as a tester, I just wanted to complete the entire cycle. So that's one reason I picked up data analytics. And after that, moving back to automation testing was majorly because that was my calling. So yeah, people have always told, like, when I test, even in my life, I look at finding fault with everything, or I'd say finding a scope to improve whatever is there in front of me. So yeah, that made it a reason to choose this career again. And data analytics, I'd say I did learn a lot, but yes, when it came to choosing two roads, I chose the road which was better known. And yeah, before I landed this job, I landed this recently in September. So way after I completed my master's, like say it was around 1.5 years before I landed this job. So it was pretty hard time. It was after working in India, I contacted one of my companies where I had worked previously, and I worked remote for them. COVID helped me out working remote for them, and that helped me gain the experience as well over here. So that kind of strengthened my profile.
So were there any specific tools and the technologies you used for these experience which you have in India?
Yes, firstly, Excel is where you start off, like Excel or Google Sheets when you start with manual testing. And then I was introduced to tools like Jira and Bugzilla, where we log bugs and raise defects or create stories for whatever is going to be tested or whatever is going to be developed. And after that, I'd say when the automation came into picture, coding became a mandatory thing. So basic knowledge of coding is necessary when we move into automation. Manual is fine, like you learn a few concepts and you start testing something and find out. But automation is a separate niche area where you'll need to figure out which cases could be automated and which cases are not necessary for automation. For example, they have the Google captcha for a reason. that it shouldn't be automated. Like you need to select the pictures and it's a random every time. So things like this can't be automated.
Right.
While anything like entering your username or password and then clicking the login can be automated. So things like this are what you mainly need to look for when you go there. And the main tool is Selenium, and I have worked with C# as well as Java programming. So Selenium is the base tool when you start with automation.
Great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that information. So, guys, he has completed his master's in data analytics, as he mentioned. So, we will not dig more into the program. I have created a dedicated video for that. If you want to check out MS in data analytics at DBS, the link is in the description below. In terms of finding a master's degree here in Ireland, you can choose any college or university. And if you are looking for options for universities or college, either in Ireland or any of the countries here abroad and do not have any prior information, you can head down to my counselor. They provide free services and suggestions to the people, wherein you can ask them questions which country is good for your course based on your eligibility and your long-term job goals. If you are interested, you can look out for the counselor form which is in the description below and ask them the questions about your study abroad. Below you can check out the course details. So this video is specifically about how he landed a job as a automation engineer. So we'll talk about his journey here in Ireland and then move on to his interview levels, how he deal with these interview questions, and how tough was this journey for him, and how is the job market here in Ireland for test engineers. When you were completing your masters here in Ireland, did you do any part-time jobs?
Yes, I was doing part-time jobs when I was studying as well. So yes, I used to work as a kitchen porter. Then when I got my 1 month break, I worked in a warehouse full time. So the breaks that we get are the time where we can put in more hours and save up more, so you can concentrate better on your dissertation. So I would suggest everyone to keep the part-time hours to a minimum while doing the dissertation, because even the first and second semester, it wouldn't be much of a pressure depending on the college you study on. So concentrate more on part-time at that period and save up as much as you can. But after that, during the dissertation period, your full and full should go for your dissertation, because that's what contributes to the maximum marks of what is gonna give your grades finally. Because like a 2:1 is mandatory when you move into the market over here. Anything less than 2:1, it becomes pretty difficult to land a job. So 2:1 or 1:1 would help you, and it would put your resume up on the stack, and that would be like really helpful. So even though I was working for a year, I figured out that I was wasting too much time focusing on earning money, and rather not focusing on what I actually came here for. So I was glad that Ireland was ready to provide the support, like the unemployment pandemic payment during the COVID time. And I availed that for a period of 6 months, and those 6 months were the most critical period that helped me land a job. Like I'd say somewhere around like 30 to 40 interviews I might have given. But yeah, still each interview was a learning process. Where I'd say leaving out the part-time and concentrating more on this helped me out. So it is more about when you do part-time and when you concentrate on your interview process. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so that's real. Thanks for the information. That's really a good takeaway. Like, do the part-time jobs, but if you're not able to cope up your master degree and part-time jobs, we would suggest like don't do the part-time jobs, because anyway you would be able to cover these expenses in almost like 1.5 years. So I would assume that you did not have prior experience with data analytics. So what's your take on this particular course? So since you do not have any background, so do you think this master degree, were there any difficulties or struggles while studying, or you had an understanding that you should be studying something before, or you should have some prior understanding before starting this master's degree?
Not really. It totally depends on the college. Like, say, if you get into colleges like UCD and Trinity or DCU, I've seen people like stressing out a lot because they say it's huge pressure and the assignments are pretty complicated and everything. But comparatively, colleges like DBS and even NCI has raised their standards. But in the period when I came here, NCI and DBS were pretty easy to breeze through. Like I was pretty active in the college clubs as well. I was a member of the student union. I used to go for frisbee matches to different colleges and meet people, play there, and get to know the culture much better. And still, I was easily able to do the assignments as well as like manage my time properly. So time boxing is a very important thing.
Thanks for that. And what's your take on DBS? Like, a lot of people have been asking me, you shouldn't choose DBS or NCI. I mean, how was your overall experience in that terms with DBS?
Uh, Again, I came here with experience. So I again repeat that anyone who has experience of like 2.5 plus or 3 years can comfortably choose DBS because they shouldn't concentrate much on their masters and go forward and start getting their CV ready and getting their profile ready and fine tuning their LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the most important part here.
Yeah.
So yes, though you're studying and everything, you come into DBS, you concentrate a little on studies, and that will give you a lot of time to set your foundation for getting a job over here. So if you're a fresher, I would definitely not recommend DBS or NCI, any other second tier colleges. It would be worth it only if you're going into UCD or Trinity or even DCU, because DCU has raised their standards pretty much a lot, and as a lot of my friends from DCU have landed Intel and other major companies like Apple as well as Microsoft and so on. So yeah, it totally depends on the profile of the person.
Right. So, guys, that's really it about his experience at DBS. A lot of you have been asking you should choose DBS or not. I'm also from DBS. So, he's pretty much right. Like, if you have some experience, then you can definitely choose any college or university. That does not really matter because you know what sort of job you want. But in case you are a fresher, you need to look out for the course content. But I guess in terms of finding jobs, it doesn't really matter if you're from university or college, but you should have the right skills to apply for these jobs. Forgot to ask. I'll ask a monthly expense. So, Surya, how's the monthly expense look like here in Dublin? Because right now the rent is crazy over here. What do you think minimum expense per month would be?
Yeah, first thing I would like to tell everyone, do not look to stay near the city. There is absolutely no point in staying near the city. You'd only lose your money partying throughout. So yeah, take that coming from seeing many of my friends. And yeah, you move, the farther away you move from the city, you will get better rooms, bigger rooms, and single rooms at better prices. So yeah, I've been moving around Dublin for like 400, 500, and this is the first time I'm paying above 500 euros for a room. So I shifted recently and I'm paying 750. It's an Indian landlord. Everything was fine, so I didn't think about it. I was actually kicked out of my previous house, and don't ever go to houses with agents. So they keep looking for reasons to kick you out after 1 year, because just because they want to increase the rent, they'll put like false accusations on you, they'll put reasons on you and all that. And yeah, it's pretty much a very tough battle finding an accommodation in Dublin. But groceries are pretty cheap when you go to stops like Tesco, Lidl, Aldi, etc. And then you could finish your weekly shopping within 15 euros, and then your total monthly expense with everything would be less than 100 euros if you're cooking properly.
So it would be mostly like comes up around 900 to 1000 euros monthly, right?
Yeah,
Good.
kind of.
Thanks. Yeah, on to your job experience. Let's talk a few things about your interview process. How long did it take you to, like you mentioned, it took you around like 1.5 years to land the job. So, how is the job market for test automation engineers here in Ireland?
So yes, earlier finding a test automation engineer job or even a manual tester job was really juggle, because it was sometimes I was overqualified or I was underqualified. It was happening there, and so with every single job description, I had to pull out skill sets from there. I had to pull out tools from each job description, keep adding it to my CV, and get the help of some experts over here and getting my CV ready and getting the format. because most companies use an automated system to filter your CV, and it's not like a person who sits and reads through your CV. So it is mandatory that you focus on building a CV that passes the automation system. There are so many free websites that actually test your CV and say if it will pass through a system, and what kind of data will be retrieved from your CV, and etc. So I can't name them out of the top of my head, but yeah, it would a Google search would help in finding out those. So yeah, that's the main part. And the struggle mainly was getting the right profile and the right interview, and referrals help a lot. Please do network. Please do network. I repeat that. Communicate with as many people as you can, because you never know who will come in handy at what time. So building connections and meeting people and talking to people, and over upskilling yourself would be the key to landing a job here.
What are your suggestions for the people who are into manual testing? Do we have jobs here for manual testing, or it's like more jobs are just for automation here in Ireland?
I'd say there are loads of jobs for manual testers, because see, in my team there are 3 manual testers, while I am the only automation tester who takes care of the entire project. A lot of companies who provide sponsorships as well, even for manual testers. So yeah, it's pretty much easier to get into manual testing rather than automation.
So I assume manual testing, because the manual testing and automation testing are these IT jobs, so they come under critical skills, right? Both of these.
Yeah, they do come under critical skills. Both of them do. Yeah.
Okay, great. And what's your suggestion to a candidate who is moving from a manual test engineer to automation test engineer and wants to find a job here in Ireland? Like, what are the tools and the technologies the companies are looking for, like, as your skills?
Yeah. So the base for any automation test engineer is Java. So get your skills right in Java, like not like an expert developer set of skills, but an automation test engineer level of skills, like the basics, OOPS concepts, like the object-oriented programming. After that, start learning Selenium. Then you go to tools like Cucumber and so on. So all those would be depending on the company you get into. So people work on C Sharp, Java, and Python, but the majority work on Java. So Java is the main key.
Got it. So, what do you think? Like, I don't want to know your salary, but what is an average salary for a fresher or experienced person? Like, could you just give us a range?
Um, for an experienced person, like say somewhere around like 3 years, when I stepped into the market, I'd say you could comfortably ask for 55,000 euros or more. And but I'd say if they are providing you a stamp, do not concentrate more on the salary part, because once you get your stamp one and you're done with 2 years in the company, you could definitely jump jobs. Like when you have a stamp 4 in your hand, you have numerous opportunities. They pay you 400 euros a day, which say just take it as 21 days a month. So 21 into 400 to 500 gives you 8,000 to 10,000 euros a month, which is crazy money in Ireland. So yeah, anything above 40,000 for a fresher.
Let's talk about the interview rounds. How many interview rounds you had?
I had 3 interview rounds. First was a telephonic one, and the second was the proper technical one, where there was an automation expert and a manager who interviewed me thoroughly on all the concepts of Selenium, as well as programming, as well as the scenario-based questions, like what would you do in this scenario, what would you be using, like how would you code your way around this, and it was more of practical questions. That was one main reason I was able to crack the second round. And the third one is a managerial round with the HR as well. So it is the final round is always with top brass, like someone who's taking care of an entire portfolio, say who's a head of 20 people, 25 people, 30 people. So that is the interview where you have to be more careful. So the second round and first round is just a formality where they call and they get to know you, see if you can manage with communication and if you're actually a fit for the role. And then the second round is where they actually drill you technically. So check whatever is the latest trend in the market. So I was looking at a tool yesterday which was released by Microsoft. Yeah, if you can Google that as well, you'll be getting that tool. It's one that's hot in the market and it's competing with Selenium. So when you keep updating yourself with new tools, you keep moving higher and higher in the stack. and every certification pushes you closer towards the job. So that was one main thing that helped me in the second round. My certification gave me a lot of knowledge about the new things that I didn't know even when I was working. And the final round was mainly managerial interviews. So there's you'll get so many dumps about standard managerial interview questions, like however talented the manager, whatever they do, it would be a standard set of questions which you can easily breeze through if you just like don't stress out and you stay chill through the interview. So yeah, that was the entire interview process.
So you mentioned that you have given a couple of interviews. So if we dig more about your interview rounds or questions, what's your take or suggestion for the people who would be interviewing further for automation?
Yeah, they'll start with the basic coding questions, and yeah, they'll ask you like how would you go click and how would you get a locator from a page, say what are the different locators, and they'll start with the basics. But moving ahead, they'll ask you questions like how do you upload a file, how do you download a file, and they'll ask you questions like how would you find that an element is not present in the page. You got to think out of the box and use the concepts, combine them together to solve the question that they're asking you. So you got to think on the feet, you got to be quick, you got to keep memorizing as many concepts as you can. So yeah.
Okay. And I know, I remember that in the previous question you mentioned that people should be doing some certifications. So are these paid certifications or just online free certification? Could you just give a more insight about those certifications?
Yeah, there are online free certifications on Udemy as well, which give an extensive knowledge. Like I am talking about the ones which are 45 hours, 50 hours, and 60 hours, like a proper college lecture. Like if you take your time off and sit properly, like you spend like 6 7 hours a day when you're searching for a job, you could definitely complete that 60-hour course in a month or so. So, and you could be pretty much of an expert in it as well if you complete all the exercises, all the quizzes that are provided as a part of the course. And in addition to that, all ISTQB certifications. So ISTQB is the main certification body for testing. So foundation level certification is the key. You need to crack that too. And I'd say if you do a foundation level certification, it's like picking your resume out of a stack and putting it on the top. So that's what you're doing for yourself. And if you're going for automation, do the test automation engineer. And test automation engineer is something you have to be very careful about because it's tricky, and all ISTQB certifications are paid. So every time it's 300 euros and 250 euros that you're paying. So you got to be pretty much confident that you can crack the exam before you can take it. And the pass mark is not like other exams, it's a 65% pass mark. So if you don't get 65, you flunk the exam. So you got to be very, very confident that you can clear the exam before you take it when it comes to paid certifications. Otherwise, on Udemy, you can keep doing as many certifications as you can, and they definitely do add value to your core skills.
So very useful. So you should do these certifications. I'll drop a link to all these certifications in the description below. If you want to have a look, you can check out those certifications. That's really it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, you can either comment below or you have his LinkedIn and ask him the questions. Do you have any final thoughts for the people who are moving here either for job or master's degree?
Yeah, I just like to mention my experience after landing this job. So yeah, life really takes a change after you land a job. You have peace first of all, like that's what you came here for. You finally got your footing in Ireland, and your LinkedIn inbox is going to be flooded with messages after you update your first job. Like there are recruiters contacting you. You don't need to go for recruiters start coming for you. If you're in a good role in a good project, recruiters start coming for you. Like you ask me, I get like 3 to 4 messages from recruiters every week or once in every 2 weeks. So like yeah, just concentrate on your first job and then you're set for life over here. That's what I'd like to share with everyone. So yeah, thanks.
That's really true. Life just literally flips when you land a job here, and he's right. You get recruiter calls every week, and then you start wondering where were these recruiter when we were actually looking for a job. So yeah, things take time, but you would land a job sooner or later. Just work on your skills, update your CV. Thank you for watching this video. I hope we answered almost all of your questions about automation test engineer job here in Ireland. Still, if you have any questions, please comment below so that I can create a more dedicated video and help you answer those questions. And I'm asking you to comment below because this might help a lot of people who are trying to pursue their masters or job here in Ireland, so this will help them as well. So if you like the video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video.